Welcome back to Season 9, the Marketing, Magic, and Messy Middle podcast. I'm Beverly Cornell, and I'm the founder here at Wickedly Branded. And today I want to start off with something that is especially true with midlife women who own successful service-based businesses. So many of us are accidental entrepreneurs. We start a business because we are resourceful, we have talents, we have experience, we're willing to figure things out, and we built with what we had, right? I started my business because I married an active duty soldier, and I had to take my show on the road back in 2012 when remote work wasn't really a thing. And finding a executive level marketing position was going to be impossible unless I was highly networked, I feel like. So we all started out as freelancers. And when we started out as freelancers, we said yes to everything. And we delivered, probably over-delivered, maybe even still over-delivering. And we adapted to the work as it came. And it was super reliable, smart, creative, and helpful. And because of that, our business grew, right? And the very thing that we looked for freedom in the business became almost a trap. But that season mattered so much. That building season matters. I never want to speak about freelancing like it's a small thing, because it is not. So many women, this is the doorway. It is the first expression of freedom that we have as women in business. It's the first step towards agency, to having your own business with power and money and a voice for the first time. It's the first way that you can use your gifts on your own terms without somebody telling you what's right or wrong. But at some point, it happens for all of us. For many women, I think, especially for myself, the business grows up. I talk about that like I had a big girl business. The business grows up. We started as flexible work. For my family became a body of work. And what started as a client service became deep expertise and wisdom and knowing. And what started as self-employment becomes something that could actually create impact, wealth, influence, and legacy. And that's where this tension lives, because the woman has grown in expertise and thought leadership and knows how she can really help her clients transform. But often the brand, the marketing, still sits from the very beginning. She's still talking like a freelancer when she's actually a trusted advisor. She's still pricing like a pair of hands when she's really selling discernment and wisdom and transformation. She's still marketing herself from that way earlier season, using all that old language from maybe 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, old positioning, old beliefs, and sometimes even old fears. So what causes that? A few things. First, survival branding. This is real. I've done this. A lot of women built their original brand around what was practical, marketable, or easy to explain, not around the deepest truth of what they were becoming. Second, there's this thing called identity lag. So growth happens a lot of times inside of us before it actually shows up externally. You become this next version of yourself before you know how to speak as her. And that's because life happens, and we oftentimes don't have a lot of time to process that, but we do gain wisdom and deep knowing in our experiences. It just doesn't always, we don't have time to process that and then verbalize that in a way that speaks to our business. Third is overfunctioning. Raising my hand here because, do I know this one well? When you are busy delivering all the things to your clients and leading and caregiving and managing life and carrying all of the invisible, mental, emotional, physical load and responsibility, you rarely pause long enough to ask, is this still me? Does this still fit? Is this still what I'm really doing? And the last thing is loyalty. Loyalty to the woman who built the business in the first place. Sometimes we stay attached to old messaging because it worked once. It got us here and it helped us survive. And there can be real grief in admitting that we have outgrown it. But if you want to build a legacy brand, growth requires some honesty. A legacy brand is not just a prettier piece of art or logo or a more fancy or super polished website. It is a truer and deeper expression of your current voice, your current values, and your deeper work, but ultimately the impact that you want to create now. It has room for maturity and standards and boundaries and lived experience. It has room for the woman you have actually become in your business and in your life. So what helps you get to that place? What helps you actually get there and understanding where you've been? So the first thing I think is to name the season you're actually in. Not the season you started in, but and not the season your website maybe still reflects. Because maybe even where you started and where your website is a little different too. But the season you're in now. I am a midlife woman. I'm 51 years old right now. Just had a birthday a few days ago, about a month ago. And my season is I have a 20-year-old and an 11-year-old son, and my husband's still in the military. And we just moved again about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And my parents live near me and they're in their 70s. And who I help and how I help is so different than when I first started. First of all, I had a very young child. I had a baby when I first started my business, a couple years into my business. And that season is a little bit over now. My son's a little more independent, so I have a little more flexibility. And my husband is home right now. He's not deployed. There's a lot of things that can affect the season I'm in right now. So first, naming the season you're in. Second, you want to ask better questions. Not just what am I selling, but what am I really known for? What transformation do I truly offer? What are my clients saying about my work? What do they tell me? Not just who do I serve, but who am I best equipped to lead in this season? So I really say that I'm best equipped to lead people who were like me 10 years ago and maybe save them a lot of heartache and exhaustion in the process. So my book that I'm working on, Wickedly Branded, How to Claim Your Voice, Visibility, and Authority in a World Not Built for Women, really centers on me 10 years ago. I wrote it directly to myself because for 10 years I struggled, and I don't want anyone to struggle like that anymore, if at all possible. So who am I best equipped right now to lead in this season? And then not just what sounds like a good marketing tagline or sentence, but what actually rings true. And over the last couple, 3 years, I've had so many moments that are giving me chills or that I get emotional about that I know that is my truth coming out. Third is letting your brand catch up. Your messaging, your offers, your visibility, your pricing, your boundaries, your authority. Because the move from freelancer to legacy is not about becoming someone else, not about being caught in the comparison trap, not about being some other company that you think that you need to be like them, or some other influencer, or some other person in your family. It's about building a business that actually reflects who you are today and where you want to go. The brand that got you started deserves a ton of gratitude and honor for that season, but it may not be the brand that carries your legacy into the future and today. The brand that got you here, got you right where you are today, deserves a ton of gratitude and deep honor. The evolution over the years of the work and the people and the clients that you have impacted and transformed deserves some acknowledgement as well. I have learned so much from my clients and their transformations. But it may not be the brand that carries you into your legacy. So consider that. Until next time, I want you to dare to be wickedly branded. Okay. Wow, what an incredible conversation we just had. I hope that this episode lit a little bit of a fire under you to finally bring your brand to life in a way that feels true to you. Remember, clarity is the spark, but activation is that fire and flame that keeps your message and your visuals and your strategy aligned, and the confidence that follows. So does that lovely thing called momentum that you've been waiting for. So if today's episode, if you loved it, make sure you are subscribed to the Wickedly Branded Marketing Podcast so you never miss an insight or a conversation. Until next time, dare to be wickedly branded.